Today we are talking about arrow function. So arrow function is one of the features that got added in ES6. So arrow functions has a few benefits to name. Um, you don't have to type too many characters in arrow function. There is an implicit return that's been provided in arrow function, and there is a way that this keyword has been handled in arrow function. So let me just start with a normal function. Actually, the normal function in JavaScript we have two ways to write a normal function. One is using the function declaration. Yeah, let me write a function declaration here. The function declaration would be normally written something like this: the function keyword, then the name of the function, and write the parameters of the function inside that. Yeah, and if you want to return something, return out the return keyword, right? This is how a general um, function declaration would look like. Yeah, this is how a function declaration would look like. The second way to do a function in JavaScript is function expression. Okay, so the function expression would generally have a variable. So the variable is full name here, and the variable is assigned to a function. So this sometimes called as anonymous function um, because this part of the function doesn't have a name to it. So you don't have to even write the keyword. You can just do it and just call it right there. So this is why it's called as anonymous function. So this will right away run. Uh, let's not go that deep, and just let me talk to you about the function expression. So the function expression here is um, here the function expression has been written, and we gave a name as full name here. Um, okay, so either of this function would generally run if you call the full name function. So going to an arrow function. So the above two functions could be written as an arrow function, just with few modifications here. Instead of writing function keyword, we just delete the function keyword, and we can just put an arrow in front of the after the parameters. So this would generally get converted to an arrow function. So let me just run this function. Um, Before that, I'll save the function and let me run the function. So I have one called function. That's the problem. So let me just type out what I'm trying to return, right? Let me pass in my name, and let me get some output here. Yeah, I got the output here. I got the output here, and this is a general arrow function. General arrow function, and you can see here you have a little less typing here, right? Okay, after this what we are going to look is another example of an arrow function where actually many people use this arrow function. Let me write an array here of users, and we just randomly give few names: Bharat, Rohan. Let me write few more names: Roshan, Virat, right, and Rohit. Okay, these are few names that I have, and generally, if I have to map through these names, what people do is they write an anonymous function, as I said. So this part of the code that you're seeing here, what's inside the map is something called as a callback. Can I like to make a totally different video on callback. So the callback function basically receives the parameter parameter, and that parameter would be the each element of the array here. So whenever we try to iterate, so each element of the array would be received as a parameter inside the callback function. And what we can do here is we can just console log that, or we can do all sorts of operations on the name, right? So yeah, this is a basic use case of a map function. And if we run this, so you can just totally see all the names, right? So how we can convert this into an arrow function is just you have to remove the function name, put a arrow here, and this will totally work out, right? This will become an arrow function. A great thing about arrow function is you don't have to put brace if you are having a single liner, right? Uh, this will work out fine. This will just print out the names if you have a one-liner. This is generally not the case, right? Most of the times people doesn't have a one-liner, but people sometimes have written statements. Um, I would like to return the length of the string, or whatever, like Bharat is the string here, and I just don't want to the user I just don't want um, I just don't want a new array to store Bharat. I just want the new array to store the length of the characters here. So what I'll do is, let me just assign this to a new variable, length user, and yeah. So this is going to return out the length of the users, right? Let me just print there, show you what actually is going on here. Okay, so the array is having all the length characters, how many characters Bharat has, how many characters Rohan has. Rohan has 5, Bharat has 7, and all this. So the next thing, what I am trying to, what I am emphasizing here is arrow functions has an explicit return. Explicit return meaning you don't have to. Sorry, an arrow function has an implicit return, meaning you don't have to put a written statement, a written keyword inside the map function. Let me show you that. So I have not put a written keyword here, and I'm still getting an output. So user.length is just as simple as this is returned, even though if you not put a return statement here, or the braces are ignored, it's generally returned, right? This is a simple example that I wanted to show, and this is how an arrow function differs from a normal function when you have written an anonymous function or a callback function. This arrow function is mostly most of the times used as an used in places of anonymous functions. And next thing is, let me show you a real-time example of what generally people do. So in an API call, right, using fetch. So think that we have something like a fetch get users, and you give an user ID, and sorry, this is not a get user, this is get data of user, and yeah, so get a data of user, and you just what people do is they do a fetch, right? Whatever comes in, they have to return from the fetch. Uh, some URL here, okay, uh, some URL here. And what people do is they do dot then, right? Dot then, and the data which is coming in will not be in the JSON format, first of all. So they have to write a callback function, and inside the callback function they receive the blob of data, the not generally the JSON. So what people do is response dot return response dot JSON. So this will convert the data into uh, this will convert data into JSON, and next thing what they do is most probably people doesn't want the complete JSON here. Uh, so what they do is uh, return just the data inside the response. Correct. So return response dot data. So uh, considering a response is something like this, has a status 200, has a message, all good. Data. So data will be something like this, right? So here we have few things inside the data. Okay, this is just an example. This is what considering the response is. This is what considering the response is. We just get the blob of data, then we convert that into JSON, then we get uh, get the full message in JSON. So we don't really require everything in the JSON. So we just return back the response dot data, right? Then we get just the data. Then maybe the data here um, has again an array of things. Maybe uh, considering something like user. Yeah, considering it has some 10 users, um, name is Bharat. Okay, so whatever I had written here, and maybe they have assigned some uh, credits here. Credits, right? Like I have 50 credits, and maybe the other users also has a few credits there. So maybe people would like to filter out, right? Filter out users based on the credit. So what people normally do here is they again take response dot filter and again pass in another anonymous function as a callback function. Correct. Here I'll take it as data and again return data dot credit which is greater than 15, something like this, right? This is a general real-time example that I'm just putting out in front of you, and let's just convert this into a arrow function. So basically, till now what I have told is just remove the function keyword and put an arrow after the parameter. Generally, we don't need a return statement if it's an one-liner, and we don't even have to put the braces, right? And yeah, we don't want the other braces also. So the first two lines would work out fine, right? And the third line also works out fine. And we have another anonymous function here. So we convert this into an arrow function and we remove the return keyword, we remove the braces, right? So this is how normal uh, yeah, a normal uh, uh, yeah, this is how normal fetch function looks like with respect to an arrow function. Okay, so yeah, just the red squigglies may be due to due to something else. Let me check it out. Why the red squigglies are here? It says okay. Um, okay, I don't see a problem here. But Okay, return function has all this. Okay, I just missed out on one more brace, and that's why yeah, that's why this is uh, aiming with red arrows, and yeah, this is how a normal arrow function would look with respect to FH API. After this, let me give you a few more examples with respect to this. But before that, I just forgot telling you one thing. If you have one parameter inside for an arrow function, you can just delete that one. I mean, delete uh, braces for the parameter, right? Here also, we have only response, with only one. We can just delete out the braces, but it's just better if we have it for readability purpose. Okay, so this is this is also an example that I gave. Uh, so next example that I'm giving is with respect to um, this keyword. Let me just tell you what exactly we did. We just looked at an example where a normal function, how a normal function would look, and arrow function would look, and how some typing space is reduced with arrow function, uh, and next we saw how while iterating we use arrow function and how it saves us a ton of writing of code. A lot of characters just to input has been saved here. Um, yeah, that's I mean, people looks for simplicity, and arrow function provides that simplicity. Next, next what we look is what this keyword does with respect to an arrow function, and how it differs from a normal function. Okay, so we in, uh, let me give you an example here. Like if I have a class, my class, and if I have a function, right, uh, called uh, or just this is just a random function I'm doing. Hey, name it as random as I'm doing it. Like I know it's a very a dumb choice of naming a function. I just want to show you a few things in this function. You don't have to maintain this, or let me go ahead with the random name. What I'm doing is printing out this. This is actually this function is actually a normal function a function declaration. So for, what happens here is the this keyword gets printed, and you will see that this will be my class my class, which is actually a class. And if I have a inner function, which could be a function expression or a function declaration, inner function, and this inner function, if I try to print out if I try to print out the this here, you would see a strange thing. Let's just try out, right? Let's just try out this. Okay, we did not run any of the function here. That's the thing. Okay, let me just whenever we declare a class, we need to create a variable to just call the function, and here I'm doing it. Oh, sorry. I just call my variable as c and write that, and c dot random c dot random. I'm call this. So I have called this function here. And let's just see the output, right? Okay, this was the surprise. The what got printed is undefined, right? Undefined. This keyword has lost its I lost whatever was inside of this outside of the function, right? So what generally people do is they just wrap this function, and what they do is they bind this, right? They bind this keyword. Oh, okay, okay. The I just put braces at wrong place, and it gives a huge error. Okay, what people do is they just bind here the this keyword. So the this is preserved at both places, here as well as here. Okay, now it's preserved instead of undefined. We get my class, correct? Mm, yeah. So with the arrow keyword, we don't have to do the bind thing and all. What we can do is we can just, as I told before, mm, let me just control Z, and this is normal function, and I don't want normal function here. I want an arrow function. Delete the function keyword. Do this, and generally this is a one-liner, so we don't want the brace also, right? Okay, we get my class here again. So this is how these are few examples of arrow functions, and these are few of the things about arrow functions, how it differs, real-time examples, as well as how this differs in arrow function versus the normal function. Thank you.